We're back. We have the secret to the air shield.
So how are you tonight?
I'm doing good. I think I could probably clear this page tonight. That'd be nice. That'd be a thing. How about yourself?
I am doing well as well. I actually got 2 pages done today, so I am in a very good mood.
Always a plus. Yeah. It's a good thing I programmed my monitor to have an undo button that I never use, ever. I'm over here hitting Control Z, Control Z. I'm like, you have a monitor up here on the board with you.
Yeah, that at any point you could just program it to say Control Z.
Exactly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Actually, I used to use Control Z quite a bit, and now I hardly ever use Control Z because of vector.
Vector? What's your vector,
Yep.
Victor?
Because it's so much easier just to, oh look, I'm going to just do all this stuff that creates extra lines and then just erase them.
Right.
So I saw an interesting topic today
Uh-oh.
that I think we should talk about.
Uh-oh.
Because both of our comics are actually affected by this topic.
Oh, hey. Wait. That may or may not be good. Okay. Tell me what's... Hit me. Hit me, bro. Hit me.
Why is violence more acceptable than sex?
Isn't that weird? I have always felt that was strange.
In comics, and that affects both of our comics.
It does. It does. And it is very strange, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I have always wondered that. I consider my comic a mature comic, but only because there are violent themes or potential for violence, and I don't think that's appropriate for children. But I don't think the nudity is a problem.
Yeah, and here I am, literally drawing someone being cut in half, and yet that is culturally more acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that weird?
Than the scene in which I have 2 characters bathing together, and it's not even sexual. It's them just talking.
Yep. Or the shower scenes that I keep talking about as well.
Yeah.
Oh. Because there will be shower scenes in mine too, and that's not acceptable. Think of the children. Think of the children, Brian. Exposing children to nipples. You're so horrible. What a horrible person you are. And you're absolutely right. I mean, because that's the thing, right? That's the whole problem. And it does. It really bothers me.
There's a lot to that topic.
There is. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, what do you think we should do as a culture? Oh, what is your problem?
One, I think children are used too much as a weapon for things.
think so too.
Like, you know, instantly when you're talking about different things, they're like, well, think of the children. The children. There's nothing for the children. And it's like, you're an adult. You should be discussing that. This is as important to discuss as any other topic.
Yep.
And I think mental health really nowadays is starting to really play into a factor, particularly with violence.
Mm-hmm. I concur. I think we glorify violence, and I find that to be disturbing. I mean, actually disgusting. I mean, I really do. I feel like we make it fun and interesting. I mean, golly, somebody was talking the other day and had posted all the gruesome deaths that had gone through the X-Men in one particular issue. There was an issue where like everybody got killed or whatever, and they all got murdered in different horrible ways because it was like this alternate universe storyline or something. So Wolverine gets boiled down to his bones, and I mean, like, weird things. And it's like, I'm looking at it going, wow, this is disturbingly gross. And I'm like, but I noticed that even when all of these characters were getting mutilated and murdered, nobody got their clothes torn off. Even when they were boiled down, at least the bubbles covered Wolverine's butt so that you'd never see his butt, and it's like, it's conspicuously weird. It's conspicuously weird. And it is conspicuously weird, and it just bothers me a lot. And so what prompted this?
Just thinking about things, like, particularly with all the mass shootings lately, it's like, and people are instantly, oh, it's them violent video games. And it's like, there's more to it than this. This is a societal sickness.
It is. I actually firmly believe that this is due to entitlement. We have a culture of entitlement. And what's happening is, over the last few years, say the last couple of decades really, the class of people who have been totally entitled have found out that they're not entitled to stuff. They're losing their positioning, their superiority, which is why it's conspicuously all one kind of people who are involved in this.
But they have to take it away from other people.
Yep.
They're the ones entitled.
It's like I said, it's a cultural thing. We've got this weird cultural thing where they're, they'll lose something to, group of people, races, whatever is the problem du jour this week.
Yeah.
And when they do, they get mad about it. And then They, they're irritated because they don't get to do the things that they were told they could do. They didn't get the cheerleader. They didn't get, they didn't get their Porsche. They didn't get the job. They didn't get, they're not the CEO of a company. They didn't earn any of this. This is not something they earned. It's just they didn't get it. Right? And so now they're mad. They were told they could have all of these things. They didn't get it. And so they take it out on people. And at first I thought it had a lot to do with the, our, what is it, participation trophy culture. But the more I've been realizing it, that has nothing to do with it.
No, I think that's just throwing off the cause.
Yeah, I think
muddying the water.
It's muddying the waters. I think what's happened is we have a group of people who are no longer in charge, and they're upset about it
and losing their power.
Yeah. But I mean, I also think that we've been promising that group of people for a long time. We've been promising them that they would be in charge. We've been promising them that they would get the girl and they would get the Porsche and they would, and the world's not like that.
Yeah, and they're hitting the end of their lives.
Right.
And they don't have those things. And so now they've got this big win, and it's turning to ash quickly in their mouth as they realize the horror of what they've just done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on in our culture. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we have a lot of disinformation going on. Because, I mean, I've got buddies who are politically aligned in a uncomfortable political alignment, and they make logical sense when they talk about it. These things that don't make any sense to me make logical sense when they talk about it. So somebody is prompting them. Somebody is working the situation, because these people aren't just saying, I've got a great idea, let's take the rights away from everybody. Nobody's saying that. You know what I mean?
Well, and there was
logical sense.
There was an interesting thing that people pointed out about Twitter. Twitter, a few years ago, went after, they changed their algorithm to remove Nazi and white supremacist speech.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
And in doing so, they accidentally eliminated a lot of right-wing politicians and notable speakers.
The pundits.
Who then complained about it. And so they put it back. And now people are like, well, wait a minute. When you put it back, you actually made them have more power. They now get more focus their speech over someone who is left wing. So the algorithm targets them and what they have to say and makes it more visible than someone who is of equal
importance
on the other side.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I feel like we have a certain number of people who are having kind of a crisis here. I hear a lot of things where it's like the people are like, the government's taking our rights away, so we will have to take people's rights away. You know what I mean? Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You just complained that the government did that. I'm still chuckling over Texas, who just cleared the rights for high-speed rail. And, all of these people who have been talking about Texas being this bastion of freedom and freedom from the government and, all of this stuff, they just got eminent domained because nobody would surrender their land for the new high-speed rail. So Austin just eminent domained them, took their land away. And I'm sitting there going, so, yeah, no, who didn't see that coming? And I find that to be remarkably interesting. Because I feel like, it could happen here, certainly.
But
I'm not saying it wouldn't. But I feel like there would be a lot more...
So here's the thing with eminent domain. There's another side to this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they eminent domained for the rail, but they're paying through the nose now.
Oh, of course they are. That's the thing about eminent domain is, it's, you have to pay. The state has to pay a fair rate. But it's, I actually do not disagree with this.
Yeah, but you know what the fair rate is?
For rail?
No, for the land that they just got. Do you know how the fair rate works?
No, go ahead and tell me, because maybe I do, maybe I don't, but I'm going ahead.
It's whatever the homeowner sets it for.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That is correct.
So if the homeowner says, okay, you eminent domained, I will give this up for 20 times its cost, that's what the city has to pay.
Yes. It's not like they're not going to make out as bandits. I'm just saying that it cracks me up that Texas has been this bastion of don't tread on me sort of chatter, and in the end, they got eminent domain.
Mm-hmm.
Which is definitely treading on them. And they will. They'll make out like bandits, and it'll be great, and that'll be awesome. And there will be people who will be, getting a lot out of that. And that's great. That's just fine.
So how did we get from violence to eminent domain?
Sometimes I worry about us. This is about 6 of them right now. It's because we've got nobody to bounce off of. I don't know, but back to our comment, violence. And there are all kinds of things that make me kind of think about these things too. I mean, like, it's not just violence. I have this scene in my head in the next issue where, they take Alex to the shower. And she's going to decide she doesn't want to do it because that's creepy and weird and yada, yada, yada. But, you could look at the scene and say, well, yeah, but you're technically saying that an underage child is being exposed to grown adults, or rather grown adults are exposing themselves to this underage child. You know what I mean? And I'm like, can't think of any way around this, even with her not getting involved. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
even with her not undressing and even with her not being part of the shower scene, you want to show her being uncomfortable with it. And so, I'm going to have her there with, whatever, the engineer, naked or whatever, so that she can go, that's a big penis right in front of my face, so that you can be suitably disturbed. And no matter which way I look at it, it's going to look like I'm doing some kind of weird pedophilia thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not. And that's disturbing. And it's, however, if I were to chop her up, it'd be totally fine.
Let's avoid that one too.
I have no interest in chopping up Alex. We need her from way too many story plots. Way too much work to do with her.
But it's so weird to me.
Mm-hmm. Stop.
And it almost feels alien.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it is. I mean, it is a religious belief is being imposed on people.
Yeah.
And to some degree, that is. I'm just thinking of that today as, a buddy of mine had posted something that said that Christianity and all religion is child abuse, forcing your child to believe it is child abuse. And though I don't necessarily share that, a couple of my very religious buddies got on there and, it's not child abuse. And let me talk to you sometime and convince you as to why, our religion is awesome. And I'm sitting there going, see, that's the problem. Therein lies the rub. Because the belief isn't that your religion is a neat thing. It's the belief is that we all need to be that religion.
Mm-hmm.
We all need to believe it, or else there's something wrong with us. And so you're willing to actually change the laws, willing to actually change, what people do. I did that wrong, didn't I? No? Oh, no, I didn't do it wrong.
Well, and how is it different? How is what happened with the Taliban and the Middle East with the Muslims different than what the Christians are trying to do here?
Right.
That's the exact same thing. And
that's what
if you,
I'm with you. I'm just agreeing.
When you attack one religion saying that's not cool, you're absolutely right. But then when you turn around and do it yourself, and then go, why is everybody getting mad? It's like, you just said that wasn't cool.
Yeah, we just said that. We literally just said that. Yeah. I think that's an adorable picture of her. She looks so adorable there. She's like, so what you thinking? Here. Just sipping her coffee.
Well, the guy's in a shopping bag.
The shopping bag dude. Yep. You know, we will have no choice but to call that the shopping bag forever. You know that, right?
Okay. But yeah, it was just things I was thinking about today.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, how much have we drifted?
Yeah.
In 4 years, we've drifted this far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That we're willing to not accept the results of an election because your side, one side lost and the other side won.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and that's another one of those things. Like I said, that if you listen to the people involved, they've got it all logically pinned out. It all makes sense because Joe Smith found out that Tom whatever was tampering with this one machine, and therefore all the machines are clearly suspect, and and then they and like they've got all of this.
And yet, when you actually go back, you find out that the one guy was lying.
Right,
And
exactly.
that's the thing
Kingpin
that,
on this.
huh?
The kingpin on it is always that kind of thing.
Yeah. And that's the thing that's killing Fox now. Is
Mhm.
that company is going after Fox for saying that their machines were compromised. And it turns out, no, they weren't.
Mhm. It's amazing. I mean, there are all kinds of things that I don't understand. I don't understand how it can get here. You know,
As
it
fast
is
as it did.
unreasonably hot. Yet it's still a conspiracy of climate change.
Yeah.
They were sitting there not long ago throwing snowballs in Congress going, ha ha ha, there's snow, so therefore it's not getting hot. Now it's getting hot, and they're going, well, it must be a natural thing. You know what I mean? Like, the goalposts keep moving on their belief system. And it's like, it doesn't take any time or effort to look it up and see what the numbers are. And, you know, that one really gets me, because it doesn't matter whether you think it's made by man or not. It was 300 parts per million of CO2 in 1960, and it's 400 parts per million of CO2 and climbing right now. And once you hit 600 parts per million, it doesn't matter. Human beings cannot breathe that.
Mm-hmm.
We get sick and die. There's nothing you can do about it. It doesn't matter whether it's... So if you don't believe we've got something to do about it and believe that it's just natural, then you just have to believe that we are all going to die. That's it. We're dead. You know what I mean? Like, you have to accept that. You have to just accept that. Like, oh, well, or you can go for the hope thing and, like, cut down our CO2 emissions. One or the two. But it seems like they literally go for the, well, it's not us, it's just the earth, so I guess we're all going to die. No need to change. We're all just going to die. And I'm like, why would you do that? That's such a hopeless position. And there's literally nothing that you... I mean, there are photographs of CO2 reading devices from the 60s that show 343 or 320 or something like that. It's a 320, I think, or 310, something like that. Right around 300. And you just posted a picture of somebody in a building with a CO2 meter checking something completely different, and it was 400 and something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You don't even need to look at NASA's numbers or anything like that. You can literally independently see that the CO2 in the atmosphere was 300 ppm in 1960, and it's 400 ppm now, and we can't live over 600 ppm. That's 3 points of indisputable things. There's nothing... That's not a liberal conspiracy. Nobody's making that up. That's so frustrating, because even when I say that, they will say, well, you're just drinking the liberal Kool-Aid. And I'm like, that's not Kool-Aid. It's like, it's a photograph. You know.
You heard about the guy in the mountains, haven't you?
He moved? Oh, wait. No, what guy in the mountains?
So, he's a hermit who lives above Colorado Springs.
Mm-hmm.
In the mountains, like deep in the mountains. And so, is one of the things he does is he keeps a log of what the snow depth is, what the temperature is, what the winds were like.
Mm-hmm.
When did snow melt start? When did it end? All this. Because he's a hermit and there's nothing else to do.
Right.
He has been keeping those records since the 60s. So we're talking at this point, he has 60 years of data?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 60 years of data. He is going back so far. They have never seen a record this complete of temperature changes for the mountains.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Including, you know, when was first snowfall and when was last snowfall. And I said it's a treasure trove for the climate guys. And he is sitting there going, this is what I've noticed up here. He goes, when the dust comes, the snow melts like that. And the dust has been coming earlier and earlier and earlier every year, and the snow is coming later and later and later. And this is a hermit up in the mountains.
Right? He's got nothing better to do with his life. And he's certainly not politically aligned. I mean, it's not like he's making this stuff up just so that he can, whatever.
Yeah. He's bored. He wants something to do.
Yeah.
I don't know what this frame is trying to tell me.
I don't understand any of this stuff. It just doesn't make any sense. And it really I don't even know. I've got one friend on the right or on the left who just posted this. I'm getting off of Facebook, but before I do, thing where and he goes, before I do, if you don't believe that a war is coming, you're an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, he's like, and if you're a moderate, you're an idiot. And you'll be the first to die in the war. And I'm like, geez Louise, guys. Because I think all of this is propaganda. It's all. I mean, I don't agree with what my friends on the right are saying at all, but they all at least make sense internally. And none of it is the obvious, they're horrible, terrible human beings doing horrible, terrible things or thinking it through. It all makes sense to them. You know what I mean? Like it's understandable. And none
to
of it
them.
Yeah, well, even to me, if you think of it with all of these predisposed pieces in place, like for example, BLM is clearly a terrorist organization because Bob Smith over here did this thing with this thing and this thing and this thing. So it's not that we have a problem with what's happening with Black people. It's we have a problem with BLM. It's like they've managed to twist it so that it's to them, they're not being racist or anything like that. It's they have a problem with the organization because it's all corrupt and it's always evil and it's designed to kill out the cops. It all makes internal consistent logic to pull people who are perfectly normal off sides.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what bothers me is nobody is seeing it in the same light. You know what I mean? Like they're not seeing it as them being, whatever, because we don't see it that way. On our side, it's a completely different story. Who BLM, what they're doing, what's their intent, what are they trying to go for? If you were to take the words out and then were to go to somebody on the right and say, hey, there's this video here. Look at this video. It is clear that the person was running for his life. The police shot him 6 times. He wasn't the suspect they were looking for. They just came out of a vehicle that was an unmarked car for one, and then shot him as he ran. And this was in an inner city, and that's probably not appropriate. They all go, oh yeah, that's totally true. And then if you say that's what BLM's after, they're like, no, it's not. And BLM's a corrupt. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. It's so weird because they'll agree with the principle, the concept they agree with. But then as soon as you talk about there's an organization whose job it is, who's trying to put an end to it, well, that organization's corrupt and destructive and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's so weird about it. It all makes logical sense in their instance.
I'm going to be very careful with how I put this. Do you know the thin blue line flag?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know its origins?
No, actually, I do not. Do you?
Yes.
Because that's interesting.
Its origins are in the same place as the Confederate flag.
Sure. That wouldn't surprise me.
And in a lot of places, they are not allowed to show the Confederate flag, particularly on their police. Because that would show that the police have a white supremacist swing.
Okay, but how do you back that up?
Because here's where it starts to get complicated. Everybody looks at that flag, I forget what it's called. It's not the Confederate flag. It is
Stars and bars.
the stars and bars for that.
Are you talking about the stars and bars? Or are you talking about the thin blue line flag?
No, I'm talking about stars and bars.
You're talking about stars and bars, okay?
Yeah, stars and bars comes before the thin blue line. Okay. While yes, it was a part of the Civil War and a part of specifically Lee's army, it was picked up by the KKK to use with as their we are always going to be a part of the rebellion and we are always going to be the whites. And so they were using it as a terrorist flag against the blacks.
Sure. Okay. That's not disputed really, except of course by the political right. But I don't think, again, back to what I'm kind of saying.
But going forward, a lot of cops, particularly in the South, had that tattooed on their body.
Does not surprise me as well.
And then they were told they could no longer have that tattooed on their body.
Sure.
Because that showed that they were white and racist. So they came up with a new flag, and that was the thin blue line.
So here are a couple of things that this is kind of the point that I've been kind of going for. Because I don't disagree, but the problem that I'm getting is that I don't think many of those people, I don't think there are people out there. I think there are people who, and this is the point that I'm kind of trying to get to, is that there are people who have been suitably convinced that the rebel flag, the stars and bars, is not a white supremacist symbol, but rather a symbol of the South and this fighting against the liberals and fighting against the North, who are trying to do all these weird things that we don't really understand and don't like. And the point that I've been kind of getting at is the people that I know who in the South who have been wearing or doing that, they don't necessarily speak like racists. They don't talk like racists. They do the racist things that we see as a societal operation as racism, but to them, they've been convinced it wasn't. And that's kind of what I'm getting to on this point, because I agree with what you're saying. No disagreement. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is I'm having a hard time
So
saying
here's the other thing.
Some of these people whom I have known for a very, very long time, going, yeah, you know what? Really, white people are good, black people are bad. You know what I mean? Like that thought process isn't in there. There's a lot of other pieces, but I think that they're being sold a bill of goods. Is what I'm trying to.
I totally disagree.
Yeah, but see, the problem that I'm getting at is one of these people is my dad, right? Whom I know for a fact wasn't racist. And that's part of what's confusing me.
So here's the other rub.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I lived in the South for a very long time.
So did I.
I lived in Arkansas, I lived in Virginia, I lived in Maryland.
Sure.
So I lived through a good portion of the South. I was threatened several times that if I was a Northerner and they found out, I was going to die. I'm a white boy.
No part of what I said was that there aren't racists. I'm just saying that I think that some people are being sold a bill of goods. That's all. Because I agree with you. I met those people too. You know what I mean? Like, I know what you're talking about.
But we have allowed that to be normal, and that is not normal.
That I agree with. No argument there. No argument or complaint.
Why are children? These aren't adults. These are kids threatening to kill other kids if they are from the North.
Yeah. No. I'm with you. That's so again, nothing that I said was to say that there aren't people who are like this, but I think that what they get their propulsion from, the masses that they're pulling from, I think they're getting more ground off of people who are normally moderate and not those kids.
No, I think they're getting
people.
Okay. Well, all right. Yeah. I'm having a problem getting a word in edgewise, and it feels like you're trying to stomp it out. So let's just move on to another topic.
Well, okay. I apologize. I'm not trying to stomp you out. I'm certainly not.
But that's what's happening. Is every time I go to speak, you go, "Oh wait, no. It's like this. I don't." And then I start to talk, and no. It's like and it's like.
I understand. You are correct. You are correct. I apologize. I stand down because that's not the first time I've done that. I'm somewhat notorious for it.
So let's just move on to a new topic.
Yeah, certainly.
And we don't have any music going.
Yeah, what happened to our music? Did it just die somewhere along the line?
Yeah.
I think it dies every so often. I am sorry. I didn't mean to stomp you out. I really did. To me, it's frustrating because it gets so black and white, and I don't want it to be black and white, because that means that somewhere I have to just accept that my dad was a racist ass, and that's not what I really want to go for, and I'm not sure I accept that. And so that's part of why it gets hurty for me, and I apologize for stopping you out.
But on the other side of things, that's a painful memory for me. That
I
I was
understand.
literally fighting for my life, saying Colorado, it wasn't even a state at the time. That these guys are so entrenched that the South was right and the North should die.
Yep.
100 and some odd years after the war was over, that there is a much bigger issue.
Yeah, that I absolutely agree with that and have no disagreement there at all. My dad wasn't one of them. That's all. And neither is my sister, and that's all I was after on that one. Just that, you are right. Those people suck.
But they are there.
They are absolutely there. And at no point, I want to be very clear, at no point was I saying that they did not exist, or even meaning to imply that. That was not what I was headed for. I call that ADD stupid. You know how sometimes I pick the wrong words? That has got to be under that principle there. I know they exist. I was there. You were there. We were both there. We saw it.
That's why the moment I've seen the thin blue line, like, I have hated that flag. That flag has always bothered me, and I could never put my hand on why. And I'm now starting to see more and more research into its origins, and I don't like what I'm seeing, because it fits into the other thing where people who are racist aren't using hard language anymore. They're using soft language. It's no longer black people or niggers. It's now brown people. Brown people are the problem. And I saw one of my friends who went on a tirade, and he never once used the word, the
any
N-word.
words, any words that would have been
But
incriminating.
if you looked at what he was saying, you would go,
clear.
"This is racist as hell."
Mm-hmm.
And I am no longer friends with that guy for that reason. And it's like, I had that moment where I uncoded the language, and that disturbed me even more.
Yeah, and I, like I said, was not arguing that one at all. What I was trying to get at is, I think that they're pulling their moderates over with a different problem. And that's what I was talking about. And that's what I was not talking about the obvious, the people who really are out there. Because those guys, they really are trouble, and they really are a problem. And I absolutely agree. And we have those. And I'm sorry if that came across that way. I definitely, that's why I was trying to stop you, is because I'm like, I'm not talking about those people. And I think you were reading that as those people don't exist. And I'm like, no, they totally exist.
Well, no, because I was going on to the full history of it and trying to go, okay, here's where it's going. and you were completely erasing me out of the conversation.
I wasn't trying to erase you. I
And
was trying to. I was
that's the
kind of,
problem. That's the problem I ran into was
yeah. I
I was
understand.
talking and trying to explain my points, and you were muddying the water.
Yeah, I follow. I apologize. I to me, we were talking about Charlie Brown and Snoopy, and you had gone on to discussing Calvin and Hobbes and talking about why the problem is all about Calvin and Hobbes. In my head, I was trying to say, no, let's get back to Charlie Brown. Let's get back to Peanuts. And your point is accurate because you were talking about comic strips in general. And since I was pulling you back, I just misunderstood and went the wrong direction with it. So, apologies.
Anyways, let's get on to another subject.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we were good before we moved on.
Yeah, we're fine.
I also didn't want to sound like I was defending those people. I really didn't want to be defending those people. Or even have any kind of, potential belief that I was defending those folks. So that's all. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6. These guys have a lot of little tentacles. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
I'm just saying.
Oh, and just like my prediction, we're starting to get a wave of people that are turning up positive for COVID just in time for SDC.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Troy went positive. He turned up positive for COVID, and we don't even know where he got it from because he's been pretty isolated. So far, he's doing okay. He had the first night, he was having problems walking up and down stairs and stuff like that. But he's gotten better since then, so that's a positive. But it has, of course, all of us are locking down and isolating from him.
Yeah.
But nobody was wearing masks or doing any protective things in my classrooms, so I'm feeling like it's just a matter of time for me, because there's no way I can avoid it.
Yeah.
And that's another one that makes me mad. These people who are like, we're all going to get it anyway, so we might as well just get it over with. I'm like, I don't think you understand how bad this is. If we can avoid getting it for the rest of our lives, that's a great idea. You can't do that, so you might as well. It's that fatalism. It's like we've decided to choose your path in future because we've decided it's hopeless. So
yeah. Well, and there's an interesting article about these people went on vacation and they went on a cruise and caught COVID.
Mm-hmm.
They just got over COVID and they decided to go somewhere else and they got COVID again.
Yep.
And we're talking about within a month.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. that's the part that I don't think people understand, is like, it's mutating so fast that there's no adaptation for it, and it's horrible. It's a horrible thing to have, you know? It's like,
Tell
well, I
me
mean,
about it.
I was gonna say, you don't need to be told about this, but it's not like just a cold. It's miserable. It's terrible.
Yeah. And I think I'm going through another round of it.
You think you have it?
No, that's the weird thing. Is every time I've tested for it, I've tested negative, but all of the symptoms from my COVID long haul started to act up.
Right.
So now I'm wondering if, even if I get a small thing that doesn't show up on any of the testers, if now I'm going to have to deal with, 6 weeks or however long of my long hauler symptoms.
I have heard that there is a new way to take the test. And they're recommending that you swab your cheeks on either side. Don't touch your teeth. Swab your cheeks and swab the back of your throat as far back as you can go. That does not trigger the gag reflex. And then swab your nose, which I'm sure will smell great. But that's what I'm hearing is a newer way to test. That's what I've been hearing, and that gives you a much cleaner positive or negative result. So
But yeah, I've been feeling all of my long hauler stuff. The fatigue,
I'm sorry, man.
the pain in my muscles, the inability to breathe,
Ugh.
the difficulty swallowing.
I'm so sorry, dude. I mean, literally, there's nothing I can do, but there's always something I wish I could, Wish I could do something.
Like, I am literally the person that people should look at and go, this is why you don't want COVID, even if you live through it.
Mm-hmm. I often bring you up in discussions with people, and they're like, well, yeah, but a lot of people also get, no symptoms. You really just counting on that?
I had no symptoms, and this is what happened to me.
Right.
It isn't about the symptoms. It's
No,
about
it's
the
not.
damage it does. And it's so strange to me that, and then you see people go, well, why is there so many now hiring signs out? It's like, because we're still
'Cause 1 million
losing.
people died?
Huh?
Because 1 million people died?
More than that now.
Yeah.
People are still dying from the disease. And those that do live, then you have a portion that are technically not disabled, but disabled.
Right.
Like, I'm going to have to look into, eventually, once the government figures out what they want to consider to be disabled from this disease, I'm going to have to apply for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody's even thought about that. You're one of two friends that are in long haul right now, and I've been kind of keeping an eye on. My other buddy can't work more than 4 hours a day. She falls asleep from the fatigue. And it's driving her crazy because, of course, she just wants to get back to work. You know, she's not screwing around. She liked her job. She's having, she enjoyed her work. So this isn't a, haha, and that's, I think the other problem is people keep thinking this is some kind of, laziness thing. Like, haha, I have figured out a way to game the system so that I don't have to work. And I'm like, you don't know these people. You, her, both of you guys are not lazy people,
No.
And that's extraordinarily frustrating because it's like it's visiting intentions on people and then making policy because of it.
And yet, it's nasty. I mean,
Yeah. I'm aggravated that I don't think I have a choice but to get it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I've actually been kind of thinking that maybe I have gotten it, but because of psoriasis, this is my tinfoil hat theory. Psoriasis is an overactive immune system. That's what psoriasis is. All these red spots that I have here and the hard spots that are on my arms and stuff like that, that's because my skin is attacking itself. Right? That's a thing. We all know that that's what psoriasis does. Okay. I've been wondering if maybe I have gotten it, but my overactive immune system just kills the hell out of everything.
I would say that's exactly why you haven't had it.
That's what I mean. It's been like wiping out COVID every time I catch it.
No. I would say, because the thing with COVID is the storms.
Right.
It's because I don't think you have had COVID, not because of your over.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because if it were as simple as just, you got COVID and your system immediately wiped it out, that's not the issue. The problem is it doesn't stop.
Right.
And they're seeing the way COVID spreads and the way it disintegrates is it sends a signal throughout your body that you still have COVID, and your body's immune system itself starts to attack itself.
Right. So what you're saying is that you're theorizing that if I do get it, it will be remarkably unpleasant.
It will be psoriasis on crack.
Right. That'll be nice, because that's what I really need.
And I think that's a lot of my inflammation right now is from that.
Right. That would make some sense. Although I liked my tinfoil hat theory better than your tinfoil hat theory. I'm just saying. Yours is, if you get it, you're dead. It's like, maybe I won't. Maybe I've already had it. Maybe I won't die.
Well, I'm not saying if you get it, you're dead, but I am saying that if you get it, you need to be careful.
Yeah. Well, I am insured now. I was not before, but I am now. So that is at least a hospital visit is now no longer off the table.
Yeah. I mean, no matter how you crunch the dice on this, it's a bad disease.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Trust me. I don't want it. I agree.
And, it, and then I see like SGC and Anime Expo, and you just see hordes of people there, and it's like, what are you guys doing? It's like you're treating this as if everything's fine and dandy, and it's not. It very much is not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's extraordinarily frustrating.
By the way, you have a very beautiful page going. I like
Oh,
it.
well, thank you. Thank you very much. I am very pleased with this page. It's conformed nicely. I like this panel right here where she's just doing the
Yeah.
sipping her coffee and going, and make the next thought. Actually, I've not looked at your page. I've been so involved in this. I like the foom though.
So
Anytime foom is involved, I'm a happy puppy.
Boom.
Right?
Well, it's relating back to time.
Mm-hmm.
So I started the comic with boom, and then went 5 minutes earlier. And so you're seeing them fight through the corridors, and all of a sudden, boom happens.
Right.
So you now know what just went off.
Right.
The events are now lining up. So how long does your school stuff with the driver's ed last?
Well, I mean, I rejoined the company, so it will it'll go. I mean, are you talking about in the long term or the short term?
Just in general.
Yeah, because in this instance, I will be like, I'm done for this week, so I can be back on tomorrow morning like a normal human. And then probably even tomorrow night, because sadly we go to Troy's house on Friday nights, but since somebody has COVID, probably not going to happen. But next week I've got a Wednesday and Thursday, but I've been talking about what to do when school starts, because they switch to a weekend stance when school starts. So, they'll do classes, they'll do one set of classes on one weekend and then the other set of classes on the next weekend. And I don't know whether I want to be involved in that or not. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure. I mean, I do want to be involved, but I'm not sure how deep down that rabbit hole I want to go.
Makes sense.
So, I don't know. I mean, not sure. I guess the answer is, I don't know. I mean, I like staying with. I enjoy being with the kids, and I love being with the kids, and it's so much fun, and it's great being a teacher, and I love that part. I don't know if I want to lose my weekends.
And that's fair. Okay, this is a good day's work for me. I got 3 pages done.
Feel kind of like I should bring this back somewhere and tie it back in somehow, where she's like, I'll get back at the Marines. I feel like I should tie that back in at some point.
Well, the problem is you do a lot of jumping around in the story, so I can't tell you where you're at.
Yeah, I know. I understand. And it's not helping any the way that the methodology that I use doesn't help at all. No argument there. So this is page 3.
Okay.
So we've got her drinking her coffee. You see her, or I guess it's actually just page 2, right? So in the first page, she's brewing her coffee. Then this is the little Jacine who comes up and goes, "Sir, I've reorganized." And she's like, "Whoa, stop!" Right on this page, she's like, "Stop now. Do you know General Order 21?" And he goes, "No, sir." And she says, "No using words with more than 2 syllables with a skipper before coffee 30. And then she goes, "What time is it?" And he goes, 0600. And then she just looks at him while sipping his coffee, and he goes, and then she says, "The Marines put you up to this, didn't they?" And he's like, and she goes, "Thought so. Okay, tell them I chewed you out, and I promise I'll get back at them, later." Right? And that's what she's saying here. And so, like, just showing that she's kind of she's got a soft spot, and she's not like a totally mean captain or whatever.
Yeah.
The point. But it occurred to me that she promised to get back at the Marines. So I was like, I really should have her get back at the Marines someday, you know? She did sort of promise that.
Yeah, but I think you can wait on that.
Yeah.
Especially with this book, the way um, the way your beats are in this book, it wouldn't make sense for her to get back at him this early. But it's definitely,
You're right. Yeah.
but it's definitely a plot line that you have now opened
I
for
think you are right. That's
a little
probably not
later.
everything. Yeah. I think you're right.
You know, you have too many other things going on that are way more important than
Then
her
getting back to
getting
the
back.
Marines. You're right. That's a good point.
But the longer you hold it, the funnier you could actually make it, because in later books, you could go, the captain hasn't done anything. Do you think she's forgotten? And the one guy's like, no, but it concerns me even more that she hasn't done anything yet.
Right. You're right. I see what you're saying. So what you're saying is like we should have it so that later on the Marines are like sitting around like sweating bullets.
Yeah.
Because they know that the other shoe is going to drop somewhere along the line. I gotta admit, that's gonna be fun too. Okay. You sold me. You sold me on it.
You know, that's the thing with like Brig is, so this battle, you know, Brig goes, it's been a while since I've seen this many monsters, which prompts Mammy to go, wait, I thought you said that you fought these things before. And she goes, yeah, I fought them, not this many.
Right? That's the point.
You know, I have not seen a horde this size in a long time. And Mammy goes, why are there so many? And she goes, Brig goes, you know, how would I know? Would you like me to stop and ask one? And as she's killing one of them, she goes, why are there so many of you? Because, you know, see, he's not telling me anything. And it's banter back and forth between the two of them.
I like the banter. It is a solid hallmark of your comic that I enjoy quite a bit of.
Also, one of my long hauler things that I'm not really happy with is my slurred speech has come back.
Yeah, I was so worried when your slurred speech came back. That was so scary.
And it is coming back. I am noticing it more and more.
So was that indicative of something else that had occurred?
I think it's all a part of the same thing.
Okay.
What I think is happening is, okay, you know how you were talking about psoriasis
Mm-hmm.
and how your immune system is fighting your skin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When, like, at one point I was having. Hi, Donald.
You're on your way home, Donald.
So, at one point, they were taking samples of my stomach because they found inflammation there they couldn't figure out.
Right. Were they doing biopsies?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it wasn't cancerous, but
No, but biopsies still suck.
yeah, they did like 4 or 5 biopsies of it. But it led me to wonder if my my immune system is causing the inflammation.
Right.
And so one of the things that I think is inflamed is my tongue.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Because I'm also having a lot of difficulty swallowing. So my tongue and my throat are currently inflamed. And then I've noticed my leg is inflamed and my foot is inflamed. It's the exact same leg and foot I had last time.
Right.
That was inflamed.
You just lost at poker, Donald. I'm so sorry, man.
But did you have fun at poker?
That's the important part. All right. Gentle beings, I think we are getting really, really close to a complete page here. Dangerously close to a complete page.
By the way, this is my favorite exchange. Because with Mammy, she goes, maybe ask one that you aren't killing. And so she turns and goes, okay, no problem. Mr. Owl. It's totally that Tootsie Roll moment.
Right. A 1, a 2, a 3.
But I finally figured these guys out completely. And now I can have fun with them.
Mm.
And like I said, the roleplay session really changed a number of things that I wasn't expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And it made it synergized the comic in a weird way for me and crystallized it.
Huh. Okay.
And so now I have story beats I can talk about at later points, and when I finally bring them in, it's going to be like, oh, oh. Okay. See, yep. All right. Well, I'm going to call this good here because I can't get another page done in a half an hour.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to call this page too when we get there. I'm not quite ready to call it yet. Almost ready. Not quite.
And today was such a heavy topic day.
Yeah, it really was. I'm sorry I got tangled up with you.
That's okay. It's fine. I think for as heavy as the subjects are that we were pulling, that it's gonna happen.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But yeah, still feel bad. I'm just putting in background thingies here, like these little just background
Garbly bits.
Yeah, just give it some background so that we can kind of operate here, and then I think I'll be out of here as well. So give it some, kind of.
So, have you heard anything from Pepper or Colton or?
No, I really haven't. And I actually I was thinking of messaging them or something and saying, hey, are you guys okay? I haven't seen or heard you guys at all in quite a while,
Yeah, in months.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing that's bothering me is it's months.
I'm hoping, we didn't do anything to offend them. I don't think we did.
No, I brushed my teeth and everything.
Yeah. I even have on a different shirt.
Exactly. All right. What time is it? Midshipman should be something different. Kind of feel like it's staticky. I'll use my rain. I like the rain pattern. And then this will be the last one because the rest of these guys have something in them. So they don't need anything added to it.
And you know about Emmanuel the emu,
Yes,
right?
I do. eating the cameras.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, damn, that isn't a good page. Look at that. That looks great. That's cooked. That's cooked. We're good.
That's very nice.
That's a very nice page. It's a solid page. You got a solid page. I got a solid page. We got some solid pages going for us here. Although it's cool because we both came to the end of a page, and it is really cool to see exactly how dynamically different our pages are.
Yeah.
But what I really like about this is you and I both have our pages in that little column and a main page up. So like the style of the way Clip Studio is operating still looks the same between yours and mine. And then we get all of the great how we do these things differently looks and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so there is a lot of difference between the styles of what you have and what I have.
Yeah, I find that fascinating personally. Okay, well, you gonna join me tomorrow, you think?
Oh yeah, I'll join you tomorrow.
I've
got a lot of work I have to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna move to another page. Now this one's done. This puts me, as I double check here, this puts me with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way to 13 is complete now. 13 just needs all of these random shots, but we'll get there. Then it's 14 through 18 is done. 20 through 25 is done with the exception of one panel. And then 26 through 29 with 2 panels missing. And then this last scene, and then we're out. This thing will be ready to roll. Hi, Patsy. Patsy just shows up just at the very end when we're both like wrapping
Patsy. Up. Yeah, I have 9 pages inked so far.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot going on with this comic. I don't know about you, but it's been hot.
Yeah, it's been hot. That has not been fun.
I have to like stick this in front of your face to have it show up on camera.
I know, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, you drew Deadpool. That's awesome.
Nice.
Hey, Patsy, if you join us tomorrow morning, because I'll actually be on the show tomorrow morning at our 9 to 11 time slot for the day tomorrow. If you join us tomorrow, you can post it, and I'll post it for you. I'll stick it up here. We can all take a look at it and admire it in its awesomeness.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, but yeah, we're both complete with our pages today. So we both finished the pages, and we're like, do we really want to start another one with only 20 minutes left? And both of us are like, no, not really. So it's like, oh. So cool. Well, Donald. Well, Brian. Well, Patsy. I'll see y'all tomorrow, I guess. We can get out of here a little early and go to sleep. So good night, everybody. Good night.
Good night.